Boys and girls, today we are going to read a story about a Christmas tradition in Mexico, which we will be starting today. The title of our story is The Legend of the Poinsettia. The author and illustrator of this book is Tommy DePaulo. Let's begin. Lucida lived in a small village high up in the mountains of Mexico with her papa, her mama, and her younger brother and sister, Paco and Lupe. Papa worked in the fields with their burro, Pepito. Every evening, Lucida fed Pepito, gave him fresh water, and filled his stall with clean straw. At home, Lucida helped Mama clean her casita, their little house, and pat out the tortillas for their meals. She took care of Paco and Lupe, and each evening they went to the shrine of the Virgin of Guadalupe near the front gate to see if fresh candles were needed. But every day was not a work day. On Sundays, the family went to San Gabriel in the square where Padre Alvarez said the Mass. And all through the year, there were fiestas and holy days, which always began with a procession that wound through the village and ended at San Gabriel. One day, close to Christmas, La Navidad, Padre Alvarez came to their casita. "Ah, Senora Martinez, buenos dias, good day," Padre Alvarez said. "I am here to ask you about a blanket which covers our baby Jesus in the Christmas procession. We have used the same one for so many years, it is almost worn out. Because your weaving is so fine, I have come to ask you if you would make a new one." "Mi padre," Lucida's mother said. "I would be honored, and Lucida will help me." On Saturday, Lucida and Mama went to the market to buy the wool for the blanket. They chose the finest yarn that they could find. At home, Lucida helped Mama dye the wool the colors of the rainbow. "The colors will shine through the church," Papa said, as he watched Lucida and Mama string the yarn on the loom. As Christmas drew closer, everyone in the village was very busy. All the mamas were making gifts to place at the manger of the baby Jesus in church, and the papas worked together putting up the manger scene in St. Gabriel. Lucida and the other children went to church for singing practice for Christmas Eve procession, when everyone could walk to St. Gabriel singing and carrying candles. Once inside, Padre Alvarez would lay the figure of the baby Jesus in the manger, and the villagers would go up and place their gifts around it. "Oh, our gift will be the blanket for the baby Jesus, Lucida told her friends. "I am helping Mama make it." One afternoon, a few days before Christmas, Lucida and the children were singing in church when Senora Gomez came hurrying in. "Lucida, you must come home. Your mama is sick, and your papa has taken her down to the town to see the doctor. You must take care of your brother and sister until Papa returns tonight." Lucida was frightened. Mama had never been sick before. When she got home, Paco and Lupe were crying. They were frightened too. Lucida tried to comfort them. She made some food and sat up and waited for Papa. That evening, Papa came in looking tired and worried. He drew Lucida close and said, "Lucida, mi niña, your mama is ill. Your aunt, Tia Carmen, will take care of Mama until she is well, but I must go back and stay with Mama until I can bring her home. But it won't be until after Christmas. Senora Gomez will take care of you and Paco and Lupe when I am gone. She will come for you tomorrow." The next afternoon, Lucida overheard two women talking. Lucida's mama is very ill. She won't be able to finish the blanket for the procession. "Isn't that a shame?" "See," said the other woman. "We are all so disappointed. Papa Alvarez will have to use the old blanket that's all worn out." When Lucida went home to feed Pepito and get clothes for Paco and Lupe and herself, she looked at the unfinished blanket on the loom. "Perhaps I can finish it," she thought. But when she sat down and tried to weave, the yarn got tangled. The more she tried to untangle it, the worse it got. It was no use. She could never finish it by herself. She took the unfinished blanket to Senora Gomez. "Oh, Lisita, it is so tangled. There isn't time for me to fix it." "Tomorrow is Christmas Eve," and Lucida started to cry. It was all her fault. The blanket was ruined. Her family wouldn't have a gift to place at the manger of baby Jesus. "Don't worry, Lucita. We will all go to the procession together." Lucida didn't say a thing, but in her heart, she felt that she had ruined Christmas. "Come, Paco, come, Lupe. It is time to go to the procession," Senora Gomez called on Christmas Eve. "Where is Lucita?" She was nowhere to be found. Lucida was hiding. From the shadows, Lucida watched everyone gather for the procession. The candles were lit, and the singing began, and the villagers walked to St. Gabriel, carrying gifts to place at the manger. Lucida walked along in the darkness, and she watched the procession go to the church, followed by Padre Alvarez, carrying the baby Jesus. "Little girl, are you Lucita?" said a young old woman who stood in the shadows. "See," Lucida answered, wondering who she was. "I have a message for you. Your mama is going to be fine, and Papa will bring her home tomorrow. So you don't have to worry. Go into the church and celebrate Christmas with the others. Paco and Lupe are waiting for you." "I can't. I don't have a gift for the baby Jesus. Mama and I were weaving a beautiful blanket, but we couldn't finish it. I tried, but I only got it all tangled up." "Ah, Lucida, any gift is beautiful because it is given," the old woman told her. "Whatever you give, the baby Jesus will love because it comes from you." "But what can I give now?" Lucida said, looking around. A patch of tall green weeds grew in the fields nearby. Lucida rushed over and picked an armful. "Do you think these would be all right?" Lucida asked the old woman, but she was gone. Lucida walked into the church. It was blazing with candlelight, and the children were singing as she walked quietly down the aisle with her bundle of greens in her arms. "What is Lucida carrying?" whispered a woman. "Why is she bringing those weeds into church?" said another. Lucida reached the manger scene. She placed the green weeds around the stable. Then she lowered her head and prayed. A hush fell over the church. Voices began to whisper, Look at the weeds." Lucida opened up her eyes and she looked. Each weed was tipped with a flaming red star. The manger glowed and shimmered as if it were 100 candles. When everyone went outside after Mass, all the clumps of tall green weeds were shining like red stars. Lucida's simple gift has indeed become beautiful. And every Christmas to this day, the red stars shine on top of the branches in Mexico. The people call the plants La Flor de la Noche Buena, the flower of the holy night. The poinsettia,